Hi everybody, Penny here. Welcome to my kitchen. So today we are going to do my Nan Churchill's saucy butterscotch pudding. Now many moons ago in Newfoundland there was a flour company called Cream of the West Flour, and she got this off the bag of flour. There was a recipe, and actually I have that little card somewhere but I can't find it. It's in, when my Nan passed away, she had a fair amount of cookbooks, so we all got one. And this little piece of paper was only like this big, but it was yellow and red, which were the colors of the Cream of the West flour. And it was tucked inside the cookbook, which was a great surprise for me. And I still have it. I just haven't been able to hunt it down in the last half an hour getting ready for this. So that's okay. So it's a butterscotch pudding, and you make the batter and you make the sauce and then you bake it in the oven for an hour. So you can see behind me, I have a pot of homemade chicken soup on for supper and it's ready. So we're going to make the pudding, put it in the oven, have our supper, and by the time we're finished and have a little break, the butterscotch pudding will be ready. So step number one is you have to make the sauce. I have 3 tablespoons of butter in this pot. The recipe only calls for 2, but I always add a little bit extra. But it only calls for 2, so that's up to you. So now we are going to melt that. And while that's melting, we have 1 cup of loosely packed brown sugar, and we're going to add 2 tablespoons of flour. Now we're going to add the flour to the sugar. Sorry, I'll get this water out of the way, maybe you can see better. We're going to add the flour to the brown sugar and mix it up because we don't want clumps in our sauce, in our butterscotch sauce. But the flour is what thickens the sauce. So we do need the flour, but we're just going to mix it in with the brown sugar. And our butter is melting nicely, as you can see. Okay, then we're going to add 2 cups of water. Now this is an induction cooktop, so it heats up much faster than the regular cooktop, but that's okay too. So it will thicken probably quicker than it would on your stove, unless you have an induction at home. Now we're just going to whisk that together. Get it all nice and combined, make sure there's no lumps. There we go. So we're going to let that sit and do its thing while we get the rest ready. So now we're going to do the batter. So what we've done is you put it in a 9 by 13 pan. This one is not quite 9 by 13, but it has a higher edge. So basically what happens is we will get a higher pudding than the 9 by 13 pan, which you would get a little bit of a lower pudding, but it's all the same. It's all good. So first we have, let me see here, 1/3 cup of butter, and I've melted it a little bit in the microwave because it came right out of the fridge. And we have 2/3 cup sugar, just regular white sugar. Oops, move that out of the way. That all mixed up there. There we go. And we have 1 egg, just lightly beaten. So 1 lightly beaten egg. And Barry, if you wouldn't mind passing me the milk. There we go. That's lovely. Just going to measure 1/3 of milk in here rather than dirtying another measuring cup. Of course, this is a lot bigger than what we need, but about 1/3 cup of milk. There we go. And we're going to add our dry ingredients. In this bowl, we have 1 cup of flour, 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I mixed it all up to make sure it's combined so it gets distributed evenly within the batter. So we're just going to take a little bit of this, about half, And we're going to switch out our whisk for our spoon. And this is coming up lovely. It's starting to bubble. So I'm going to turn it down just a smidgen. And Barry is going to reach over and continue. Actually, this is almost ready. You'll feel it. You may not necessarily see it, but you'll feel it when you stir it up, that it's thickened. And that is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That's done. Ta-da! Now, if you have a regular stove, you don't have an induction cooktop, a little trick is you can boil the water in your kettle first, and then add it to the pot, and it will thicken up faster for you. So that's a little trick. Okay, so now we're gonna use our batter. And we have our vanilla, which I forgot to put in, so we'll just add it to the milk. Not a big deal. And it was right in front of me, and I still forgot to put it in. But that's okay. There we go. Looks like chocolate milk now. Okie dokie. So now we're going to put in a little bit of the milk. Stir that up. There we are. Stir that up. And the rest of the flour. I'm going to stir that up. And then the rest of our milk. There we are. So you gotta be careful at first because you don't want to splash it everywhere. But then once it starts to blend, there we go. And you're off to the races. Okay. Excellent. Easy peasy, right? There's two steps, the sauce and the batter, but they're both easy, so it's all good. I'm just gonna get around the sides to make sure that I don't waste anything. There we go, buddy. And now, the first time I did this, I thought, what is happening? This is not gonna work, but it does, and it is awesome. It is so not diabetic friendly. However, for a treat, this is amazing. And if you want to impress somebody that you're having over for supper and you want a lovely dessert, this is amazing. And I will be including it in my cookbook. I'm going to have an heirloom recipe section, and this will be in there. Oops, along with many other things. Okie dokie. So you don't need to spread it out too far. It doesn't have to reach the edges or anything like that because it will rise a bit and spread as it bakes. But this is the amazing part. This is the part that I thought, how is this going to work? You take your butterscotch sauce and you pour it directly over your batter. Barry's mouth is watering as we speak. There we go. Then you put this in the oven for 1 hour. So we're gonna have our chicken soup. We're gonna put this in the oven, have our chicken soup, and then we'll be back. Hi everybody, Penny here, back again. So here's the butterscotch pudding, and it's extremely hot. Barry just lifted it out of the oven for me. But as you can see, we put it in the oven, batter on the bottom, sauce on top. When it comes out of the oven, the cake is on top and the sauce is on the bottom. That's so cool. Look at that. Oh, look at that beautiful sauce. Look. Oh, this will feed easily 6, if not 8 people. And I don't think I remember to tell you, $3.25 for an hour. But there you go. There's Nan Churchill's butterscotch pudding. I hope you give it a go. It's so good. Bye. Enjoy.